Hello, I know I'm going to be getting a little bit into conspiracy theories here, but I'm talking about the problems that Liz Truss is having with her cabinet. Now, for those of you who don't keep up with British politics, what happened was this. Boris Johnson was forced out of office by a sort of cabal of his own ministers and the active support and help of media organs like the BBC. And this was over stuff that went on during the lockdown, which frankly I didn't care too much about, and I doubt very many people did. However, he was forced out. Now, also the fact is that Boris Johnson was going somewhat off the rails. So I could see why there might be some discontent, but not in the direction that I am going to be talking about now. Rishi Sunak had started a campaign as early as Christmas the previous year. It was obvious that he was angling for the top job, and it now strikes me, and this is where I'm wildly speculating. It strikes me that a whole group of conservative grandees had angled him into that idea. That is, they wanted to put him in that job. Now, I don't know why, but obviously these grandees thought that Sunak was either the best man for the job or more likely the man that they could rely on to be pushed around by them. It didn't quite work out like that. However much they tried, they started off with a list of applicants for the job. Kemi Badenoch was probably the front runner for most people. She certainly was for me. But in the end, she was eliminated and two were left. That is Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak. Even though there are many conservative supporters, voters or sympathisers who didn't like Sunak for the simple reason that he was a rat, that he had actively connived against his own boss. And I could never, if I was still a member of the Conservative Party and in a position to vote, I certainly would not have voted for him. But the other person was Liz Truss, a sort of pound-shot Margaret Thatcher. She dressed like Margaret Thatcher. She wore the pussy bow shirts and blouses and all the rest of it. But everyone knew that she wasn't that effective. And indeed, she seems to be completely unable to withstand the pressure from other members, dissenting members of her own party. So that's Liz Truss. And I think she was put in there, set up to fail, so they could get Rishi Sunak back. And I believe that this is a group who want to take Britain back into the EU, and this is the only way they could do it. Kemi Badenoch certainly wasn't going to do that. And when Liz Truss went in there with naive schoolgirlish ideas of really getting Britain going, and she appointed Kwasi Kwarteng, who was full of all sorts of imaginative financial ideas that possibly come from Thomas Sowell, but certainly seem to be in that area, and which I welcomed. She was pressured into ditching him, and now we've got Jeremy Hunt. And I believe that there are other people due to go as well, until Liz Truss turns out to be the puppet leader of a cabinet which is run from other sources. That is what I think is happening. But what's going to happen? I don't know why these people can't see it. This is obvious in many ways. I don't know quite about how much of a conspiracy was, but the fact that the Conservative Party is in disarray and being pushed around by forces not within the cabinet, that's obvious. And nobody's going to vote for that. So what's going to happen is the Conservative Party is going to take a nosedive, and Labour will get in, and they will take Britain back into the EU, and this whole idea of taking Britain out and striking off on our own. That's been ditched for another couple of generations, or possibly forever, because these guys will definitely make sure that Britain is so locked into the EU that we'll never get out again. Right, so that's what I think's going on. It's a disgrace, it's a betrayal of the voters, and it's suicidal for one of the most stable and organised political parties in the history of the world, the Conservatives, who used to know what was what. Altogether, we're being pulled from something, and yeah. So the fact that the behind the scenes grandees are using influence, that's not a conspiracy theory, that's well known. But where the conspiracy ideas come in is where I'm starting to wonder if this isn't from some external force. Like large companies, I'm just giving you an example, Elon Musk. Elon Musk has proposed a peace deal which the Ukrainians rejected, whereupon Elon Musk threatened to remove the Starlink connections that the Ukrainians need to keep on fighting. Well, if that isn't direct influence on the policies of a government, what is? And it's this sort of thing that I think is going on. Big business, even big pharma, all those companies who have a vested interest in governments going in a certain direction. And I think they were worried that Britain striking off on its own was not dancing to the correct tune. Anyway, that's my ideas. Some of them may be a bit off the wall. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, I'm Granniopteryx. I'm here on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. Please help my channel grow by sharing, liking and subscribing. And when you do subscribe, especially on YouTube, please keep checking your subscriptions, because YouTube drops them, not just for me. All sorts of really big YouTubers are complaining about what YouTube is doing. I think that's it. Oh yeah, you can also help me financially, buy me a coffee, or one of the links below, Subscribe Star or PayPal. Yeah, that's always useful. Okay, well, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Granniopteryx design or Granbo, with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com, and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.